Those doors are designed to withstand a rocket launcher. You do want this. Last night, you said you knew it was just a matter of time before we.
Working with you. Say. What's going on with it? What's happening? We're back again. We are back again. We are back. You know what I'm saying? It's bragging with. We're about to get into some high tech knowledge. We definitely are. Or whatever the case may be, right? Told you I was going to be doing more lives, being more consistent. Let's get to the date, right? Now, as you can see as the head title, right? You can see that it says that let's talk about, the body of water. Let's talk about that, right? We're gonna get into, but that's gonna be the head title. You know what I'm saying? That's the head title. We're gonna let the people come on in, whatever the case may be. Shout out your city and state, wherever you're from. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what's going on your side in your world. You know what I'm saying? What you experiencing. For me, I may not be experiencing the same thing you experiencing. You know what I'm saying? We all experience things differently. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. So, you know, um, just speaking up at the top of what's like going on with the people, or whatever the case may be. Uh, what I can see at the top is that it's like a lot of people are telling people, hey, you need to change. You need to get with your family. This is that and the third, blase, blase. And I need my orange juice. Yes, 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 yes. You know how these seasons are, okay? So I gotta make sure I'm seasoned, okay, with that vitamin C. You know what I'm saying? All right, all right, all right. Yeah, make sure you get you some vitamin C out there. Make sure you go to like, wanna know where I get mine from? I go to Whole Foods. Yeah, I go to Whole Foods right there. They got the best juice right there. 100% orange juice, no preservatives, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So go over there, get you some orange juice while the season rolling in. The weather change. You know what I'm saying? Overall, I can say this though. Um, right? What I can say is this: everyone that are in, so-called northern states, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston, Ohio, that whole northern region. What I'm starting to understand is that a lot of people are not talking about in that region is that their so-called, winter months are being cut out. Like as if winter don't even exist over there no more. The reason why I say that is because you can look at the data for yourself. You can go research, the weather forecasting system that, New York is under, New Jersey, Connecticut, the whole northern region. You will look at the temperatures and you'll be like, yeah, we're definitely within a, how can I say, global warming. We definitely are within that. I know a lot of people want to ignore themselves from that, but I find it kind of funny that what you ignore is already happening around you. So it's kind of hard to ignore something if it's already happening. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about this on the bus the other day, and two college students, what was so funny about it, two college students, they started laughing about the conversation. And I started to understand with them, what my understanding was, is that there is a code that are within people and to order to block themselves away from reality. Even though reality is happening around them, right? They just have a code within them that they block themselves from reality. So for me, as a whole, I look at it as it's like comedy at its finest. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is happening in front of you, but they prefer to ignore. So I understand that people don't have power over reality. The only thing they can do is try to ignore. It's a try. It's not actually like permanent because once certain worldly events happen, you have no choice but to react. And the person that has to react really, to a certain sense, it may be too late for them. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I see. It's just funny to me that when we were talking about global warming, like in 2000, probably like 23, 22, a lot of people were actually interested in the conversation. And I kind of find it a little bit funny now that a lot of people are laughing about global warming, but it's happening in front of you now. That's the kicker. That's what makes me laugh. You know what I mean? People are talking about it's a conspiracy theory. This shit is happening right now. There's no snow that's coming. So you can ignore, but this is happening right now, okay? You have no power in ignoring though, okay? All right, I just want you to know that because I know a lot of people think like we're trying to block the play. It ain't blocking. Oh my goodness, I'm just laughing, okay? Make sure you get your vitamin C though. Make sure you do that. Make sure you get you some orange juice. Go to Whole Foods, $10. 100% orange juice. There you go. No preservatives, no additives, none of that. All right. Make sure you get you some of that. Overall, what I've been paying attention to is certain things that's been going on with, the planet. Not only that, certain things that are, transpiring. Certain things that a lot of people may not want to speak about or want to know, which is a great thing for me. The reason why I say that is because when you have a group of people, right, that may not want to know or want to ignore the information and data that is happening to them in their reality, they're not really lost. Not really. Okay. So let's pay attention to what's going on, right? That we can actually view in real time. Okay. Depending on where you stay, you may not have this experience just yet. Okay. If you live in a red state or majority of the time it's really hot, right? I don't know. I don't know what you could be going through when it comes to global warming in those states just yet. The reason why I say this is because I'm not there just yet, okay? So, when it comes to the blue states, yes, their global warming is global warming. Yes, I would tell you, literally New York State, I watched it myself, upstate New York. They had a little, like, snow flurry that came in. The snow hit the ground, I'm not gonna lie, it did. Within one day, it was gone. It happened again, and the snow was gone again. So usually, what happens in New York State, majority of the time, is that when the snow comes, it usually sticks, right? Because it's so cold. Now, understanding that a lot of people don't understand is that why was winter really invented? What is it designed to do, right? We all can see with our own eyes that when it comes to winter, um, it freezes things, right? We can all see that with our own eyes, right? Now, let's kind of look at the planet, right? I'll look at the planet as consciousness, okay? So imagine, right, installing a system, right, where you decide to want to freeze, right, the information and data that's flowing through, right, the consciousness of, how can I say, of this continent, right, in simple terms. Now, we can all see that, when you pay attention to the trees, most people understand that in summer months, right, the trees give off a lot of oxygen. They do. In winter months, the trees, the oxygen is limited. So this is why a lot of people, they don't even understand that environment that's happening in front of you, right? Where it's perfectly for you to ignore. But I understand with myself, like, yeah, in the winter months, the trees that are being frozen, your oxygen supply is being suppressed. And a lot of people don't know that. So let's think about it, right? If you have, let's just say you have oxygen, your oxygen in your air usually comes from trees. And that's what supplies it, right? Now, in the summertime, the trees are usually very vibrant, right? And the air and the oxygen that's coming from them are a little bit stronger. Now, this is the thing about it. Is the oxygen the same in the winter months? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Now, everyone that's in the northern region never said nothing about that. I mean, think about it. You got millions and billions of people that live in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, all that. They all breathe in air, right? Okay, so can I ask you a question? Are their air supply being limited in their winter months? Because think, if your air supply is being limited, right, the technology of your mind operates off oxygen. So, is your mind actually getting enough oxygen to actually think with critical thinking skills? You might want to like really think about that. You know, why you got your winter hats on and you know whatever you wear in the winter months. You might want to look at the trees while you're walking past them and just thinking, oh, they're just trees. Well, if they're just trees, right? They supply your oxygen, right? And you may think winter is real, but pay attention. If winter was real, right? Why would the planet freeze itself in its own oxygen system? Think. That's come on. That's easy. Like think. The planet naturally gives you oxygen, right? Hold on. I want to say this for people. If I'm making you think too much, please abort this broadcast. I don't want to have you thinking too much, okay? Because that may make your mind just crash, okay? All right? If this knowledge is too powerful and it's making you start to think, go somewhere else, baby, okay? I don't even like people even getting to thinking right now, okay? All right, so if this is too much and I'm making you think about the environment that's around you, go ahead and go over there to Sesame Street. They'll help you out. You tell Elmo I said what's happening. Okay? Tell Elmo this Elmo with the horns on his head, all right? All right, you go on ahead. Go on ahead. I be knowing how to direct traffic, baby. They got the message. They like, this, you know what, you right. You having me think? Let me go ahead and get my mind up out of here because I don't like thinking. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's get into this. So think, right? We are in the month of what? November. Keyword, no remember. We know your codes. Let's get into this, right? So in the month of, October, November, December, January, February, about March, about April, I say it's about a good 7 month span of so-called winter. Now pay attention to this. Everyone believes that winter is something natural. You can't believe that. I'm not going to take that away from you, okay? But this is my only question, all right? My question is this. The planet, right, naturally gives you oxygen that you call air, right? Why would the planet freeze its own oxygen system that is supplying you? Why would it do that? And then this is what you got to think. If your oxygen comes from trees, right, and the trees are very vibrant within the summer months, right, where you can see many different colors on them, different leaves, you're getting more oxygen, okay? In the winter months, the trees are not vibrant. They look like they damn near about to go into a process of decay, okay? And so the air, right, is being suppressed. So the air is being suppressed. Your consciousness is being suppressed as well because you're not receiving enough oxygen within so-called winter months. That's what you have to understand. Now, for me, just by going in an environment, I can read off that and understand this is not natural. If your planet is natural, it's not going to do the opposite of what it naturally does. That's not what it's going to do. So just using, critical thinking skills, you start to understand like, yeah, this it can't be real because on a simple fact, I mean, why would the planet freeze itself? Thank you. Why would it do that? Thank you. It's not doing that. Why would it do that? Now I got you thinking, right? Right. That's great. Now, let's pay attention to this. What you got to understand that your enemy understand is people. I want people to know this. Y'all all have an enemy. Don't matter if you following the enemy, if you partner up with it, don't matter. It's still your enemy. It don't matter if you roll around with it and say I want to be friends with it. It's still going to use you. But you still the enemy. It's going to use you to destroy shit. But you still got to understand that's the enemy. Don't matter if you strip down for the enemy. It's still going to hate you and use you. You ain't even on a team. You just a user. People have to understand that. Some people sign into a team of self-destruction and like, yeah, I thought they was going to have my back. No. That's not how the game works. Just because you sign up for team self-destruction, you know what happens? After they done using you for their little mission, that destruction comes back again on you. Do you understand? I want you to know. All right? So let's get into this real quick, right? Let's get back into the plan. Okay? Now, what you got to understand is this. The mind, right here, left side, right here, right? Mind, brain, both runs off oxygen, right? But it's also the information and data that's within the oxygen, okay? Your enemy understands this. How can I say, in simple terms, if I suppress, right, the information and data that you're receiving from the trees, then I can suppress your mind. These are the things that a lot of people are walking past like zombies, and they're not even thinking about it. So for me, when I go out in the environment, I can see that I see why so many people are so crazy in so-called winter months. I mean, pay attention to the environment. The trees give off an actual oxygen supply of information and data to the technology of their minds. So they actually connected to these information sources that they actually call trees. That's what's going on. And then the people are not even at least questioning and saying like, hold on, why would the planet actually freeze itself? That makes no sense because the planet actually operates with solar energy that we all call the sun. Thank you. So why would it do that? I mean, pay attention to the plants. Easy token. All plants need sunlight, right? Right. So Mother Nature obviously operate with solar energy. Thank you. So why would she freeze herself? That don't make sense. It don't. So with that being said, what I understand consciously is that when they say we are going through, global warming, but we also going through a conscious shift. The people know that we're going through a conscious shift. You know that, right? No. They're not lost, baby. You thinking they lost, right? I know. The people not lost. The people not lost. I'm gonna show you something that way you can understand. Remember when we was at the solar eclipse? I'm gonna show you two different pictures so you can understand something. And both time frames still exist. Okay. You have you have in one picture, right? You have a bunch of people, right? They're outside, right? They're looking up in the sky, but they're looking up at the sun. Some of them look like they're dancing. Some of them look like they're doing this. Some of them even look like they're praising the sun, right? That's in one picture. You can find those pictures all over the internet, right? Now, what I ask is this: where are those people at now? Did they just like magically just disappear? Like, you know what I mean? So I ask questions like that. Where are those people that actually look like they was honoring the sun? That's what it looked like. Now, this is the thing about this one. The same thing does happen again, in this modern time frame. It does. The difference is when the people came outside in the one picture where you see the sun and the people praising the sun, they didn't call it a solar eclipse though. That's not what they called it. But in the modern time frame, you see people outside, standing underneath the sun, but they're not praising the sun or nothing like that. They're not dancing around it. They're not looking up at it like, yeah. They got these shades on, blue and red, and they just sitting outside. And it's like, what are they waiting for? Like, what are they really watching? Some people say, nah, they just out there, you just out there for the solar eclipse, bro. Now I hear you, but it's not ringing the way it's ringing. Like, you may look at the solar eclipse like, oh, this is something that everybody just, come outside and just, look at it. And I hear you, but yeah, this is starting to look a little bit different for me. So for me, and what I call out of the whole thing was simply is what it really is. Um, let's just put this to the table. Global warming and the conscious shift, they are within the same thing, right? And what I'm talking about has everything to do with that. Let me just dissect it so you can understand what I mean. So it's like, look at, let's look at, let's look at the sun. Let's look at Mother Nature, the planet, and then let's look at plants. Okay. Now, when it goes to, let's say, let me finish the solar eclipse thing, and then we're gonna get into that. That'll be right. I don't want to go too far ahead in this conversation, right? So let's get to that. Remember, I told you in one picture you have people that look like they're praising the sun, and in modern time days, you have the same picture, but people are coming out for a solar eclipse. Now, the people that are praising the sun, they never called this a solar eclipse, but the modern day people call this a solar eclipse. So you got to understand both pictures, okay? So when you look at that, right, what I ask in modern day time is, what are the people actually viewing? What are they actually looking out when they're viewing a solar eclipse? Now, let's just put this together. The word eclipse, right? You can go look that up in the dictionary for the free. And anyone can understand the word eclipse means to either cover up or to push away from. That's what that really means. Okay. So one day, simple side note, one day I was inside of Walmart, right? And the solar eclipse was definitely coming up, right? But I was in the curtain section. And when I was in the curtain section, I need to get me some curtains. they had some curtains that was called eclipse, right? And I'm looking at the curtains and I'm like, eclipse, solar eclipse. I'm like, hold on, eclipse. Hold on. If I put the curtains and the curtain rods up, it actually block out the sunlight. Oh shit. Now I want to show you something real quick with predictable programming. That number up there was at 2, right? I'm gonna show you something. Majority of these AIs within this world, the minute that you speak about what AIs are truthfully doing, that's the minute that they run. it's like demons, like real shit. Anyways, right? So let me get back on my triangle where I'm at, right? So that's what you gotta understand, right? Is that reality will show you exactly what's going on in front of you. Okay. That was easy to really solve because the information and data was just given. I stood inside of a Walmart, was about to buy me some curtains, and they had some curtains called eclipse. Then you had the solar eclipse. If you put the eclipse curtains up, it blocks out the solar. So, what I understand in that present moment is this: you have people that came out to praise the sun, and then you had people to come out to actually want to block the sun. Thank you. That's what I said. Now, most people gonna say this. Well, bro, what do you mean block the sun? The sun look like it shines out there every day. I hear what you say. I would simply tell you this. If the sun, right, I'm not saying it's not shining every day, but whatever that's in front of it, if it was to move, right, and it was just the sun just shining, a lot of the technology and the vessels or bodies of water that's on here, a lot of shit would evaporate in this earth. A lot of technology, a lot of people that are technology would not be here anymore. That's what would happen. The reason why that is, you have to understand that the technology of the sun is true technology, right? And anything that's artificial or AI, it will burn. The sun does not accept AI technology, and everyone know who they are. And if you don't know, then that's on you. But a lot of people understand when I'm talking like that, they understand he's right, and a lot of people are spooked out because on a solar eclipse, what was really going on? Was they actually trying to eclipse the solar? Was they trying to eclipse the how can I say the sun away from Earth? And why would they do that? Think. You got two consciousnesses, right? One that's the sun, one that's the earth. You can look at plants that's in the middle, right? And you can understand, hold on, the sun, right, sends sunlight to earth, which means that there's information and data that's being sent from the solar consciousness and now being sent to planet Earth. Without any sunlight, your plants they die off. Okay, so let's pay attention. If you got one consciousness, that's a solar variation of consciousness, right? That projects, right? Solar energy. The energy also has information and data in order to inform Mother Nature, right? How to, I ain't gonna say, I'm gonna say inform her how to grow because she already know how to do that, but actually accept an energy source in order to build it up. Like I said, without sunlight, you can't make no plants. Ain't nothing green coming. Nothing. So let's just pay attention. If the technology of the sun is sending information and data to the planet, would human beings actually try to block it? Thank you. That's it. What they try, because it's just a tryout. It's not permanent. Nothing that they do is permanent. It's just a fucking tryout. It's a demo. Okay, so let's pay attention to the game, right? So is it actually that? Is that what we're really watching? You know what I'm saying? So is it that human beings are actually doing crimes and shit against the planet, against the heavens? Yeah, that's what I seen. I ain't seen nothing less. I ain't seen what you seen. I seen that. That's what I seen. I seen, yeah. And then what was kind of brazy about it was this. The people were standing outside, but while they were standing outside, for some reason in this solar eclipse, everything started to turn dark, right? It did. I don't know about for you, but that was my experience, right? Everything turned dark. I was talking in front of my brother. I'm like, yeah, bro, such and such, such and such, such and such, such. And everything was getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And I'm like, damn, bro, I can't even see, bro. What the fuck? And then the fucking light come back on. Kaboom. Hmm. I wonder what made the light turn back on. I asked, did the sun actually shoot something and they ain't report it? Remember, think, right? They gonna tell you like, nah, the moon was just bypassing the sun. It was just aligning with it. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you selling your own conscience. You know what I'm saying? I hear you. But at the same time, what I'm saying is simply is this. If you put something in front of something, right? And that's where you're trying to keep it at, to block out whatever is projecting, right? If the moon don't move out the way, what moved it out the way? What? We all seen that on TV for the free. We looking at this shit like, hold on. That shit like he just kicked back some shit. Right. Now, let me ask you this, right? When you seen that happen, right? You notice the after effect after that. Look at the planet. It's still go look at all the states that got winter months. You'll be looking at it like, whoa. Go do the research. You'll see what I see. It's playing right there for the free. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. So, right? Um, what everyone is designed to do within the conscious shift is to block. Okay. What they gotta understand, right, is that I love what they're doing. I love the blockage that they're doing. I do. Do you know why? The more they block it, right, the more of the kickback. Do you understand? So I need people to block it even more because rushing in more. Okay? Nothing that people do is going to stop what's going to happen. Okay? You can ignore yourself. I don't give a fuck. You can block your own damn life. I don't give a fuck. But what's supposed to project through this world will. And a lot of people are afraid. Do you know why? Imagine this. Imagine you still in the world from someone. And you telling them, fuck them, they don't mean shit. And they decide to come back. Not in the way you think though. What happened if, right, someone look at people's consciousness like this? They look at what you eat, right? And they looking at it like the things that you eat, it make your conscience dead. The meats that you eat, they're already in the process of decaying. And I said that the information and data inside that meat is in the process of decaying. I said that. Okay? So pay attention to the stuff that's in front of you. If you got people that prefer to eat decaying shit, right? And someone watching them eat shit that's like a flesh and all that, they looking at it like that's no different than a zombie, bro. What's the difference? They eat the same shit, dead flesh. Do I gotta put this shit in front of you? That chicken right there is dead. Okay, okay. You looking at the zombies like, well, they eating people and shit. Them is still bodies. I don't give a fuck about none of that. They still eating bodies. Look very identical to each other. Now imagine someone doing this to you. Imagine you fighting against yourself, right? And this self right here doesn't realize that it's technically living a life of death. Okay? And then what happened is this. Whatever it became, right? Let's say another form come after it. Let's say something like like people say, some people like zombies. Okay, I hear you. But what happened if a real zombie come? What happens? What happened if that zombie is a reflection of what you are? Thank you. No one not looking at it like that. See, people look at it like, oh, that'll never happen, bro. That's in a fucking movie. Like, all right, I hear what the fuck you talking about, but a lot of shit that be in movies that be fictional, that shit be true. Okay? So like life is a motherfucking movie. I don't give a fuck if you realize that shit or not. Like, that's on your own tech. They ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you look at certain shit, you might want to take that shit and actually really dissect that shit and really like pay attention to the border what's really going on at hand. For real. Because a lot of things that's about to hit, it's gonna be too late. Let me tell you why. Do you know what people is telling me? Not what I'm talking about, that I already know, what people telling me. I got a brother, right? Don't get me wrong. Um, he'll be soon. He'll be coming home soon, right? Now, he's at a certain facility, right? Now, the facility that he's at, this was what's crazy about this shit. He told me he got up, right? He was talking to a couple of people that he know in there, right? As he talking to them, they all go outside. When they go outside, they hear these big old alarms that's going off, right? And as they going off, the alarms, they stop. One of the guys that's on there, that's on the yard with my brother, he say out loud, he like this shit feel like a zombie apocalypse. Now my brother turned and looked at him and was like, "What, bro?" He was like, "I feel like this shit like a zombie apocalypse." Now think about this. This is a prisoner. He's in a prison. Now think about this. This is somewhere in the environment that's in a prison. Why would a prisoner even be thinking about zombies? Brazy. Why would he even be thinking about zombies? You would think the average prisoner be thinking about, maybe doing something, different in their life or something like that. Why would think about it? He's sitting there in a present moment. The alarms go off like beep beep. Then when they stop, right? He says out loud, "I feel like this shit like a zombie apocalypse." What made him say that? Remember, in environment, in reality can speak to you. just by showing you certain things. So let's pay attention to something. He said that the alarms are going off. Alarms have signals, right? If I signal you to the left, right, you're gonna go left, ain't you? If I signal you to the right, you're gonna go right, ain't you? All right. So what happened if the alarm was a signal to his mind? What happened if it read like that? The alarm sends out signals. So what happens? That's the signal that he got. Everybody else in the third dimension looking at it like, oh, it's just an alarm and shit. But why did he say something different than what everybody else said? And why the fuck would he even be talking about a zombie apocalypse? Why the fuck would he even be talking about some shit like that? Right. Now, let's get into the main conversation. I know you're like, what? Bro, you don't roll that out. I thought that was the main conversation. No. This is the main conversation. It has to do with everything that I was talking about. But I had to go through that way to show you the body. I told you I was going to direct you back to the body. Didn't I tell you that? Okay, so let's get into the topic. The topic is that let's talk about the 90% of water that's in your body. Everything that I talked about from the top, I'm going to bring all in the body so you can understand, okay? All right, let's get to the data. Now, the body consists of 90% of water, right? The reason why you need water, right, due to my understanding, is that water, right, can take another informational source, combine it as one, and then transfer the information and data inside of any part of the vessel that it needs to go to. There you go. It's one of the most easiest ways to information data in the vessel by using water. Everyone pretty much kind of like know that. The reason why you should know that, being honest, if you drink coffee, right, you'll notice that the coffee hits you quicker, right? Versus you taking coffee grounds and just eating them in your mouth, it's going to take a process because so your body got to break it down. Thank you. You can skip a step of actually breaking it down, right? When you actually liquefy all information and data that you put in your vessel. That's food is information and data. So when I say information and data, right, that's being installed inside the vessel, I'm also talking about food as well. Okay. So you got to look at food. When you say food, it kind of limits what it really is. To me, in my understanding, food comes down to information and data. That's what it comes down to. Okay. So what you got to understand with the body is that the body has a certain process, right, to break things down. Also, right, to skip that process, when you liquefy things, right, it naturally just goes straight to the system because the system is already 90% of water. So it automatically is going to combine with your water. It's just as much as you saying, yo, I ain't got that much energy, bro. And I tell you, eat this whole watermelon, right? You eat the whole watermelon, you like, bro, I feel so good because the information and data inside the technology of that watermelon, right? The information and data is now combined with the information and data that's inside of the watermelon, right? Is now combined with the information and data of you. So it's basically enhancing, right, and uplifting the technology of 90% of your body of water. That's what you got to understand. So you got to understand that your body of water need enhancements. Understand? So watermelon, right, based on the information data that's inside of it, some people can say vitamins and minerals, right? Those vitamin minerals has everything to do with your vitamin and mineral code system. Okay, those are systems. Vitamins and minerals, they are systems. That's what you have to understand. And within systems, right, you have a system that hold the information and data of vitamins and minerals. Okay, but the system that's hosting it, right, needs that information and data to be installed inside the vessel repeatedly. Because what happens is the technology of your vessel, right, is holstering it, right? But it's also using it as well. So what you have to do is you have to keep filling up the cup. That's what you got to do. So with that being said, the technology of your vessel holster information and data. The technology of your water holsters information and data. The information and data that you are installing needs to be enhanced in order to keep the information and data of your water enhanced. If you are doing, let me show you what I mean. You see how this is 100% orange juice? The information and data, right, in the water that naturally came from the planet, right? They're combined as one. This water, right, of information and data combined with my information and data enhances the vitamin system of vitamin C. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I don't keep drinking this, my vitamin C levels depletes month by month, year by year. Do you know what happens? The technology of my immune system, there you go. The technology of your immune system, right, is how can I say it's at risk of being attacked. It's like this. This is your immune system. This is vitamin C. The vitamin C is the wall to protect the immune system, right? Let's say 5 months go by, right? Let's say your vitamin C was at the top, right? 5 months go by, right? Your vitamin C is down here, right? Your immune system is open. Do you see that? Your immune system is open to be attacked. There is no data wall or line of a defense in order to protect the technology of your immune system. See that you have to understand that it's just like watching a football game, right? Who you have in the front? The linebackers, right? Who are they protecting? The quarterback. Okay. Look at the quarterback as your immune system. Look at the linebackers as the protector to your immune system. That's what you have to understand. Okay. So trying to give it to you in different form so you can understand what I mean. You got it? So let's just get into it, whatever the case may be. What I wanted to get into a little bit more is show you how, certain information sources that are combined with the technology of your water and how you operate, right? Let's just take this slow. I don't want to go too fast, okay? So you have 90% of water, right? And everything that you operate with usually come down to water, okay? I'm gonna show you something in a simple form. You have natural orange juice. You also have artificial orange soda. Natural orange juice, artificial orange soda. Okay? Now, let's pay attention to something. We know that we all have veins, right? Now, within our veins, we have blood, right? Now, blood has everything to do with liquid, water, okay? It's just a different form. What you have to understand with that as well is this. Let's just say you drink soda for 5 months, right? And then you notice that your blood is not as, how can I say in simple terms? It's not as efficient, right? As in the blood is thicker. Your blood shouldn't be too thick because what happens is when it's too thick, it's kind of hard to bypass and go in your veins and stuff like that, right? Now let's just say the orange soda does that to your body of water and it affects the body of water of your blood, right? Now, what you got to understand is that every water, the soda, right, that you're combining with your body of water is not efficient. So guess what it's going to do? It's going to start depleting your body of water. That's what it's doing. It's taking away from your body of water because the information data that's inside that artificial soda, all the ingredients is, right, go against your vitamin code system and mineral code system. So imagine you having a vitamin code system and mineral code system, but you giving your body of water orange soda, but the information and data is deplete vitamins, minerals, it's deplete your whole body is depleted. That's what it's to do. Notice that when some people drink soda, they still thirsty. Right. That's it. That tell you like, yeah, this definitely not efficient, bro. You just drunk that soda and you still thirsty. Like, yeah, I'm still thirsty. The kids do it all the time. You get their little asses some soda, they're like, I need some more to drink. Like, I just gave you something to drink. Like, it's not enough. Because that body of water, right? It don't say the same information and data as a body of water as orange juice, tomato juice, apple juice. All those juices are within your mineral code system and vitamin code system. So they're going to combine, they're going to stick because it's already within you. When you decide to install the opposite, it's going to deplete your body of water. That's what happens. So let's get into it a little bit more, right? That's just with the orange juice thing, right? Let's take it a little bit further, okay? Let's pay attention to something. We all get flu shots, don't we? Right. We all get flu shots, don't we? We all get different type of shots depending on what medical situation we are going through, right? Can I ask you a question? The things that people, when you look at a needle, right? I want you to always notice, okay? There are different type of guns in this world, okay? Don't look at the gun that do pow 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 as the only gun. Don't look at that in life. You will get yourself incorrect, okay? Don't look at the gun that say pow 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 as the only gun in life. You'll get lost in here, okay? Let me show you why. What you have to understand is that guns, right? They project things, okay? What you got to understand as well is that needles, they project things as well, okay? And so what you got to understand is this. Let's just say you have a gun, right? Some people say most guns are designed to kill. That's what they're designed to do, right? Can I ask you a question? Are needles designed to do the same thing? Are needles designed to do the same thing? Guns, blickies, tack. Are they designed to do the same thing? Let me show you what I mean. When you use a gun, right, and shoot out projectiles, those projectiles are designed to hit a certain target and put the target down. When they put the target down, the target may be killed, terminated. Okay, that's what it's designed to do. Now, when it comes towards needles, what you have to understand is that they work the same way too. What you have to understand is that the needle projects, right, information and data inside of you. What you have to ask is this: the information and data inside the needle, right, is liquefied setups. The information and data inside the needle is already liquefied, right? So what you have to understand is that whatever that's inside of that needle is going to hit your body of water very quickly. Thank you. That's the reason why they hit this. That's the reason why they use needles, because they understand that the medication or modifications. Yeah, I said that to your tip. I said that to your tip, right? The medication that is modifications, right? That can modify the technology of your body, right? What you got to understand is that whenever you are projecting, right, the information and data that's inside the needle, can I ask you a question? Does the information and data that's inside of that needle that you call flu shot, does it align with your vitamin code system or mineral code system setups? Let's get to the data. Let's get to the data. Let's get to the data. These are the questions that human beings never ask. This is why I don't go with humans' intelligence. Pay attention to the simple for now. You have 50 different states, right? And in all these 50 different states, they all have a flu shot, right? Now, when they have the flu shot thing, no one is asking the information and data that's inside the needle, that's being installed inside the technology of body. Does it align with your vitamin code system or mineral code system? That's what you have to ask. Or you don't. Most people say they take a flu shot. Why? Because they say it's going to help my body. I hear what you say, but, right, this is what you have to ask. Your body, right, needs vitamins and minerals in order to be built up. Right. Are vitamins and minerals inside of that needle that you're about to put inside your body? All right. You have fun. You go have fun. Bye-bye. I don't want you to think too much, because thinking for human beings is a little bit too much. You go ahead and go do what you do. Okay? So that's something that I learned by just watching human beings, or whatever the case may be. They never ask any questions. That's what they never know. You are going to take, just think about this. Everyone think that guns are the biggest killers, not actually understanding that you have silent killers in the world too. You understand? Let me show you how silent killers work. I'll show you. You see your water, right? Can I ask you a question? Is it easier to just bomb a group of people, or just to poison the technology of the water in order to poison the technology of their vessels, setups? And then you never question the information and data inside of the water. And guess what happens? It kills you from generation to generation to generation. Setups. Silent killers. Your sewer systems. Brazy. You're looking at guns as the biggest killers, right? You don't know about silent killers, though. Silent killers can literally be you looking at guns as the biggest killers, and not actually looking at needles can be the biggest killers too. Understand that a gun project things. Understand that a needle project things. The gun project what? Bullets inside of your what? Your vessel. The needle projects information and data inside of your vessel. Setups. They both work the same way. They both project things. They both do the same thing. They both can either, one, as the weapon, could protect someone or self, right? Or the weapon can be used as a senseless murder. Thank you. The needle can also install information and data, as in vitamins and minerals, in order to enhance the technology of your vessel, your water supply, everything. So what you gotta ask is this: when you're taking a needle, do it actually aligns with the information and data that's already inside of you? Setups. That's what you have to ask, because the doctor, right, can also be the indoctrinator. Indoctrinator, okay? Based on the information and data that he's installing inside the technology of your vessel. That's what you got to understand, okay? You thinking an indoctrinator is just someone that teaches at the school. Setups. You might want to start asking some questions about here. That way you can get some real answers. While you sitting there and just shoot it up in my veins. The only thing that kills is guns. Shit. So you might want to like ask some questions around here. That way you can get to know certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get asking questions, guess what? It's gonna lead you into the truth. The truth is not gonna just play in front of you like, yeah, yeah. No, you're gonna ask some questions. And then when you get to asking some questions, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I know what's going on. Thank you. Okay? So with that being said, or whatever the case may be, right? Let me get into it a little bit more further. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't want to talk about this, and a lot of people don't want to hear about this. But I don't care, blood. This is what's happening. Okay? Now, a couple of years ago, everybody wanted to talk about the mark of the beast system. Okay? Everyone said that yes, yes, and people gonna get these things on them, and they going, you know the story. Okay. Now, the thing about it is this: a lot of people don't understand that COVID-19 was really much of a choice. Either if you want to restore your avatar back into the system, or if you want to keep your avatar free from the system and be taught with yourself. Thank you. But a lot of people don't understand certain things that's going on. Okay. Now, for some people, they have the knowledge, right? But they may not want to break it down just yet because they like the people gonna look at me like I'm crazy. I don't give a fuck. When I get to talking about this, everybody else get to talking about it too. There's nothing you can block out this world, okay? So let's just talk about it. Now, what everyone has to understand is that around 2020, 2020, 20 stands at 20, which stands for two eyeballs. Keep your eyes open. 2020, that stands for keep your eyes open. That's the code, okay? Most people gonna say, no, it's just a year. They lost in the third dimension. Get their asses up out of here, okay? Moving along, right? What you have to understand around 2020, there was a decision that was made amongst the people, okay? That decision was to either be led by the system, right, or to be led with self. Understand that majority of people already failed by 90%, okay? Only about 10% of the people in this realm actually wanted to lead themselves. That's what you gotta understand. What you gotta understand is that everyone is within the system. They wanted to install the system right back into themselves. You gotta understand? So in order to install keyword, in order to install the system back in there, they're gonna cover it up and say that it's COVID-19 shots. Not actually understanding that the information and data is actually designed to install the information and data of the matrix right back inside of you all over again. Data. This is why, pay attention to the step in front of you. This is why you see a lot of people ignoring the truth. It's why you see a lot of people doing a whole bunch of other things in the world. They're just not focused on self. Do you know why? Because the digital character writes. What you have to understand that this needle right here has information and data. A characteristic comes down to information and data. The technology of your mind has to be informed, right? How to operate, how to move, this, that, and the third. A lot of people walking around here saying that, yes, a lot of people looking like zombie land around here. I hear what you say, but at the same time, did they actually install the zombie inside of them? COVID-19er, I said that. Okay, I know it sounds crazy today. This is nothing more than Noah's Ark today. You gotta either laugh or distract yourself today. I'm just watching a replay. Do you understand? That's all I'm doing. Okay? You drive your own mind crazy. You tell your own mind that's just a black man with locks with some damn shades on. Think he's a fucking rock star. Get the fuck out of here. That's what you do to your own conscience, okay? That's what they did in Noah's Ark. I just want to watch the replay of what Noah went through. Do you understand? All right. That's perfectly put, isn't it? They're like, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck, bro? what it is right here. So right here is this, right? You have a vessel. That vessel consists of 90% of water. You have a decision to make. Either install yourself back into the old system or to go with the new system. 90% of people already made a decision to go back to the system. This is why you see a lot of people like, why I can't get no job? What the fuck going on? EBT, snap it. Snapchat, no. Snap. Snapchat, no. Snap. EBT, EBT. You notice that they're complaining about the systems. It's layers to the shit, okay? They're complaining about the system, all right? What they are saying is we need the system to survive. They need the system to survive. Do you understand? Let me show you. In a couple of months, right? Maybe a year or two, the internet gonna get turned off. And when the internet get turned off, I want you to watch how people operate without the internet setups. A lot of shit didn't happen that I didn't say it. So if I know I say it, this shit gonna play. Okay? The internet gonna get turned off. When the internet get turned off, stand back and just watch the people and see what they do. You're gonna see a lot of people probably crash the fuck out. They're gonna be like, I can't get on Snapchat. What the fuck wrong? And what the fuck going on, man? See what the fuck I'm talking about? They gonna crash the fuck out. Okay? You cut that motherfucking internet off, people are gonna go fucking crazy. It's just like when you turn the system of Snap off, people go fucking crazy. Setups, data, okay? So it's already set up. That's what would happen to the people. Didn't you see people crash out when they didn't get the system supply them with Snap, right? Okay. When the system got turned off, what people do? Crash out. So when people say, right, America, right, could be falling, shit, if your own people will crash shit the fuck out if you don't give them nothing. You damn right. That's easy. I mean, shit. The people in America, they operate totally different from other people. They looking at it like, so hold on, I ain't got no. Listen to shit. I ain't got no food. I ain't got no motherfucking money. I ain't got no gas in my tank. None of that shit. You think I'm just about to sit here in this motherfucker and not rob? They gonna get the robbing, bro. You know that was a test, right? Oh yeah, that was a test. Yeah, it was like this. It's like pulling. It's like looking at a movie screen and then you pulling it up like, let me see what this shit really gonna do when I pull it. Oh shit! Like that was a test to see what the people gonna do. You gotta understand, right? A lot of this shit is a test, real shit. Okay, and you gotta understand, like you got higher forces watching this shit, and they looking at it like, all right, pull a curtain up. Oh shit, they gonna rob shit. Oh shit, like, and they looking at it like, we didn't think they was gonna do that. What the fuck? You know why? Because the people been in the system the whole time. So you got to think, it's like giving mice it's like giving mice cheese, and you supplying them with all the cheese, and then you cut the cheese off. They're like, oh hell no, what the fuck? Do you see what I'm saying? And so the people that's trying to control this whole shit, right? They looking at it like this. Oh shit, like yeah. This how bad y'all got the people. The people looking at it like, if we got the system, bitch, we dead. See? You got them destituted. You see what the fuck I'm talking about? They feel like it's no point of return. Do you see what I'm talking about? Now, I'm going to show you something else. right? Now, people didn't understand that this is all a test, okay? And what you got to understand is that consciously, um, the test is to see if the people want to be pulled away from the system, okay? What you got to understand is that when I talk about food, right, I always talk about food in a way of information and data, okay? What you have to understand is that what's inside of the store, right, and what is being stored inside the body. Right. What you have to understand is that information and data is inside the store, right? That gets stored inside the body. That's what you have to understand. This is why they call it a store, because it stores information and data. Okay. What you have to understand is this. Let's just say we are in a conscious shift. Within a conscious shift, we have options and decisions that we can make, right? Let's just say that the planet wants us to go back to the natural information and sources of produce, right? In order to produce the intelligence of our minds, right? And let's just say we say, no, we don't want to do that, right? Not me, but people in the earth. Let's just say they stop, they say they don't want to do that. What happened if the test is behind SNAP? Let me show you what I mean. SNAP, right, is a I'm scratching my leg, not my balls, okay? God fucking damn. Let me finish. SNAP is a program. The program that it offers is based on the information and data that's inside the stores. What you have to understand is that SNAP, right, funds you in order to receive information and data from the store. But the information and data that's inside the store is artificial ingredients, AI. That's what you have to understand. So, what you have to understand is this: when the system got cut off, right, the people went into an uproar. Like, we need our SNAP. We need it. Was this actually a test, right, of actually pulling the people away from the system? That way they can get off the system of fucking AI. Thank you. No one didn't see that though. Everyone was going to look at it from a third dimensional way and say, no, bro, you tripping. They're talking about food. Stop. There are only two informations. There's only two information sources inside the store. There's only two. That's either produce, okay, that naturally comes from the planet in the sun, okay, and also artificial ingredients. Artificial, A, ingredients, I, is right there in front of your face. You cannot deny it. Okay? So, with that being said, these are the information sources that are inside of the store. This is what they store, information and data. So you have to ask, which one are they storing? They're storing both. Okay? But it depends on what you want to install inside the technology of your vessel. That's what it comes down to. Okay? So what you have to understand is that this is a whole conscious shift that we're going through. Within a conscious shift, we are being tested. Within being tested, you have the option to make certain decisions for yourself. Do you want to save yourself within the AI system, or do you want to save yourself within the natural resource system? Thank you. Everyone is talking about save self, save self. The only way you can get to yourself is by saving the information and data that resides with self. Your vitamin code system and mineral code system already tells you that. Okay? So when you say save self, let's just pay attention. Self operates with solar energy, which is sunlight, solar consciousness. Pay attention. The sunlight that you are viewing or looking at has information and data. How do I know? Very simple setup. Take the technology of your arm, put your technology of your arm in the sunlight. Can I ask you a question? Why is it that the technology of your skin is becoming darker? Thank you. What is going on? Tell me. Why is it that you can't tell me? How is it that you're sitting in sunlight and you can't tell me what's going on? How is that? Don't look at me like, oh, you're just smarter than me. I'm not trying to hear that. How is it that you can stand in sunlight, right? And you can't tell me what's going on with the technology of your skin? Something is missing. Something is missing with people. You're telling me, this is what you're telling me. I just get darker in the sunlight. Give me more greater detail in your intelligence. Tell me. Now that's a self question. You got to ask, how is it that you stand in sunlight, right? And you can't tell me the functions or what's going on with your vessel. The only thing you can tell me is I just get darker. How does that process take place? And how is that process is taking place and you can't give me the information and data of what's actually going on with your own vessel setups? You're going to tell me I just get darker in the sunlight. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. At the same time, what is the process to make your skin darker? Tell me. Don't wait on me. You're the one that's sitting in the sunlight. You tell me. It's kind of funny that you got people that can accept sunlight, but they can't actually tell you the process of what's going on with their own vessels. That's a little bit strange if you ask me. Now, let's go ahead and get into the intelligence. What you got to understand is this. The technology of your skin have pores, which means that the technology of your skin receives information and data that come from the solar energy of this planet that you call the sun. Information and data is projected from the sun, okay? And information and data is received by the technology of your skin. So let's just pay attention here. In order for you to receive something, you already have to be it. Thank you. You can't receive something if you're not it. Thank you. So let's just pay attention. The information and data that's inside the sun has to be the same information and data inside of you. Vitamin D, blitz. So let's just pay attention here. If vitamin D is a natural source of information and data that comes from the source, right? That's within you, right? Then how the hell you can sit on a planet, right? And allow them to block out the natural information or sources of where you come from? How? In all 50 states and not make an uproar? This is kind of strange to me. The technology of your skin needs sunlight. You people need the sun or you'll perish. But you're not going into the uproar by the sun? Brazy tech, if you ask me. How is that? How is it that when it comes to your skin darken, enhances? Everyone not designed like you though. Some people actually perish or burn in the sunlight, and I said that to your tech and give a fuck if it was disrespectful because it was truthful. Not everybody's tech is honored by the solar energy of this planet. Not everybody's tech is honored by the heavens. That's what you got to understand. So everyone is not accepted by the heavens, depending on what you designed your technology to be. Did you design it to be natural elements, or did you design it to be AI? And there's many forms of AI that's walking around here in front of you that you can believe that's in color. Yeah, I said that. So why is it that the technology of the sun accepts certain technology of skins and burn other technology of skins? Why is that? Is it because they are color? It cannot be because it's a color. Because on a simple fact, the ones that you call black, the technology of their skin has some type of vitamin D structure within it. Within their vitamin D structure, they do not burn or perish underneath the sun. Setups. So do we have setups? You know where I'm going at with this. Do we all have the same vitamin D structure? Brazy. Do we all have the same vitamin D structure? You would simply say we all can receive vitamin D, but some people perish underneath that vitamin D system. You can't get it underneath the sun. What you want to do, liquefy your vitamin D and drink it? If you can't get it from the sun, if you can't get it from the source, that means you're not connected to the source. And I said that. And let me get to y'all real quick. A lot of y'all that look like us, y'all also sided with the AI system too. Brazy Tech. How was that designed? We know. How is that designed? Let's go into the technology of their stores. In order to become AI, when you're not designed to be AI, I'm specifically talking to images that look like minds. In order for y'all to become AI, right, you got to install AI in order to become the consciousness of AI. So can I ask you a question? If your ancestors before, right, they eat fruits, berries, everything that operate underneath the sun, and I caught your ancestors doing it. That's what they eat. How is it that I pop in here, right? And y'all ancestors of those ancestors in that timeline, and then I pop in here and y'all eating meat? I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what I'm talking about because you don't understand what I'm talking about. You eating meat. You eating information and data that's decaying? How you alive if you eating things that's decaying? How? You said you alive. I'm consciously alive. How are you consciously alive if you eat things that decay? You eat things that smell like death. Brazy Tech. Let's pay attention to the data. The technology of your body operates with information and data. The information and data that you are eating is decaying, which means that the information and data is dead, which means that you're installing dead information and data inside the technology of your vessel. Why wouldn't you pay attention? When you install dead information and data inside your vessel, why do you think that you age so quickly? Setups. Why do you think you age so quickly? You're putting dead information and data inside the technology of your vessel that is alive. Your heart is beating and everything. Understand that when you go to produce, right? Even when you go inside of the market, those fruits and berries are still alive. Understand that. They are not dead. They only decay once you take them away from the natural element, setups. That's when they start to decay. So what I'm saying is this: if we all consciously alive in this bitch, how the fuck we walking around talking about cluckety cluck, right? And we over here eating dead things that's decaying. And did we not even understand why we aging? We eating things that make us age. Things that are death will make you age. That's what happens. So if you don't understand what your own conscious and the information and data that you're installing, right? You're nothing more than a casualty to yourself. Look at your own self-actions. Your own self-actions and the programming that you accept is to eat information and data that decays, which is of death. So how's your conscious not dead? How? You think death is just, that's not death. To me, if you ask me, you have to go through a process of death in order to know. Why do you think I'm talking like this? Because I used to eat the death. That's how I know. I was very unaware, but then started to understand, hold on, this is the body, right, of flesh. Okay, the body's decaying. Okay, so the information and data is decaying and you're installing inside the technology of your vessel. This is why you're aging. This is why your energy's down. You're eating things of death. Why wouldn't your energy not go down? So let's just pay attention. When you're eating things that come from natural elements, water, sunlight, earth, wind, air, thank you. When those information sources combine together, it's usually four or even more than that. When they combine as one, right? What you gotta understand is that everything that you design, right? Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Everything that is naturally made through you, you need to understand that the planet copies the same thing you do. Your babies, right, is naturally made with the solar energy that's within you that you call, sperm. To me, that's nothing more than soul. Now, the soul is formless, just like water is formless. Setups. It's formless. It don't have a form. It could take upon a form, yes. But let's pay attention to that process because a lot of people are lost in it. Okay? What you gotta understand is this. Most people say, how can I say? The process of making a baby and the process of making produce are not the same. The only reason why you believe they're not the same is based on the two words in front of you. Pay attention to the setup. So I would ask you, right? Do women get pregnant? You're gonna say, come on, bro, we know that. All right, you got me. Do Mother Nature get pregnant? You're gonna be like, no, bro. Understand between the woman's legs, it is a portal. But the portal, isn't it dark? Thank you. When you dig a hole in Mother Nature to implant a seed, isn't it dark? Thank you. Soul goes within the mother. The seed goes within the mother. Can I ask you a question? Do the seed go through a process, and do the mother go through a process? They both do. Understand that within the garden of information and data, you install the seed inside of Mother Nature, right? That seed needs to sprout. So it needs to receive information and data from who? Mother Nature. But hold on. The seed has to sprout. Sprout mean as in the seed needs to connect, right, with Mother Nature. Understand that the seed, when it sprouts underneath the ground, it gives itself roots, veins, roots. They were the same because roots and veins transfer information and data. Thank you. So with that being said, or whatever the case may be, right? What you got to understand is that the roots are very identical to the mother's umbilical cord. Thank you. Setups for the setups. 3 for 3. Keep on going. You have to understand that the roots and the umbilical cord, that both of them receive information and data. The seed, right, that is also the child that's also within the womb, they're both receiving information and data from who? Mother. Mother Earth is what? Producing the information and data and sharing the information and data within where? The roots. Mother is also eating, installing information and data, and guess where it's being transferred? To the child. They are the same systems. Just because I use different words just to confuse you, if you pay attention to the functionality of things, you will understand they are the same. Thank you. I'm not done. Understand that the fruits and the berries, and understand that the seed, right, the soul that's inside of mother, they have to go through a process. How many months does it take to grow grapes? How many months does it take for a baby to come in the world? Do you understand? That both of them have to go through processes. Yeah. The reason why they both have to go through processes is because the soul is the one that is requesting information and data from mother. That's what's going on. Soul creates itself. It just requests information and data that's inside the mother. That is that. The mother would simply say from a third dimensional form, she would simply say, I created you. And Mother Nature will actually debunk the claims of what she's talking about. When I go to Mother Nature, she tells me the seed is the one that's sprouting. So the seed is the one that grew its own roots and connected with Mother Nature. Mother Nature is sharing information and data of what she knows to her child in order for her child to take upon the information and data in order to be a creator of itself. Mother Nature would tell you that. Women upon the earth are disconnected to the original mother of this earth. This is the reason why they do not speak like the mother of the earth. Do you understand? So the sun, right, that orbits around her and sends information and data, of course he would know, because guess what? He sends her information and data. She sends information and data. That means that they are in connection. Thank you. The woman is going to say something totally different. Set for the setups. Can I ask you a question? Before she even gets to I created you, tell me the functionality of your double X chromosome system. Thank you. Tell me. She's quiet. If she's quiet, if she's quiet on a self question and she cannot give you any self answers, that means she does not know herself. Do you understand? She cannot say anything upon this world. Her voice box needs to be muted until she actually understands the double X chromosome system within her. Okay? All right. Have a nice day. Another way that I could also show you that she's also not what she thinks she is, she would say, I am the teacher to my sons. You could never be. The reason why that is, you do not have the same information and data as the father or the son. You do not reside within a Y chromosome system. The one that has the Y chromosome system can only teach the young Y his chromosome system. You have a double X chromosome system, which means you operate with the information and data of what? X chromosome. That's all you have. You do not have the information and data inside or installed inside the technology of your vessel in order to know how to operate with the Y chromosome. So how could a woman teach a young boy to be a man if she does not have the same information and data inside of him? Setups for the setups. My gun is smoking. Blow the smoke out. You done shot too many bullets. Stop. Now that's the perfect setup that a woman can never get away from. She would simply tell you, I'm the creator of you. How are you the creator or teacher of me if you not possess the same information and data as me? Thank you. In order to become a master degree, you have to go to the one that already has the master's degree. Thank you. Thank you. Out here shooting things up. Huh? Getting smoky out here. God damn, he done shot up the whole scene. How many bullets he done shot? Shots on shots, right? Like Kobe out here, ain't we? Now that's a hell of a breakdown right there that a woman would be like, yeah, baby, I can't magic trick him, baby. He got it. Yeah, he really got it. You can't deny that. I can use Mother Nature, use her wound, and she's like, how the fuck you know all that? I was inside of you. How the fuck I wouldn't remember? Oh. I mean, we always inside our mama, right? All right then. Shit, he should have been knowing the system in that damn thing. That's what I was doing. That's how I know. So what you gotta understand is that when it comes towards Mother Nature and you pay attention to the structure and the code system of her, you start to understand that she shares information and data towards all seeds that are within the planet in order for them to create their cells. Thank you. It's a simple setup. It's not the other way around. She cannot create me. You don't possess the same information and data as me. Thank you. It's just like the sun. The sun sheds and projects information and data to the mother, which means that the mother is the receiver of the sun. And let me show you what I mean. Soul, solar energy, that projects through her. She can't make that. Only the Father can. Thank you. She can't make that. How's she gonna make you if she can't make you without him? She needs his natural information and data of source, okay, which is soul, to project through her in order for source that's within her to request the information and data, right, that's within her in order to generate a suit. Mother Nature holds the information and data all physical forms. Do you understand? Not the solar variation of you, but the physical form of you. That is the information and data that Mother Nature holds. She holds that information and data. That's what she owns. She owns that. Yes, this technology of skin, yes, she owns all that shit. The eyeballs, all that shit. She owns that. But the soul, that's you. Okay? That's you. You own that. I know. You ain't got to tell me. I know what I own. God damn, I remember. Damn, I know. Shit. You ain't got to yell that shit out. I got it. Shit. You're the owner of that. Okay? So, with that being said, or whatever the case may be, soul is the one that requests information and data from Mother Nature, right, in order to be accredited towards itself. Mother Nature would not tell you anything different. She's not going to tell you, I created you. She's not going to tell you that. She doesn't tell any of the seeds that are sprouting within her or connecting with her that she created them. She's not going to tell you that. She's going to tell you, I share information and data with you in order for you to be a creator towards yourself. That's what you are. Or you can say that someone else created you and give them all your power. I don't give a fuck. But the truth is as such, okay? That's the truth. She information shares, right? You're an information receiver as well. And you take upon that information and data in order to create you a suit within this world. A lot of people don't understand that, based on your bloodline, right? It's the information and data that you receive when you come within this realm. Some people say, why the fuck this bloodline look ugly as fuck? Because they did a lot of ugly fuck things. So you get a lot of ugly fucking people. Do you understand? That's how this shit work. Okay? Do better things. Your bloodline are obtain higher information and data in order to look good. You understand? Setups, okay? So that's just how things operate in this world. You understand? So it's just like the world that's within your mother. Set up for the setups. Now we're going to get deeper in here. We're going to get real deep. The mother, right, goes through a phase or process, right, for 9 months with her child. What you got to understand is this. The technology of her womb, right, is holstering the baby. Hold it. Right? While it's holding, there's an umbilical cord. The umbilical cord receives information and data. Right? Now, this is the thing. Remember what I told you. There's 2 information sources upon this world, which comes down to natural resources, produce, and artificial ingredients, AI. Can I ask you a question? How many children were created within their mother wombs by only eating artificial ingredients for 9 months? Think about that. Think. Think about that. Think about that. Can I ask you a question? You know how you got, hear me out. I'm not speaking down upon these kids, okay? Hear me out. You know you got regular ed classes and then you got special ed classes, right? They call them special need children, right? Usually these children, right, come out with these birth defects out the womb, okay? That's where it stimulates from. Can I ask you a question? Does a baby come out with birth defects, right, if the mother is receiving information and data from natural resources, produce? We all can agree, no. There's no way in hell. But if the mother is receiving artificial ingredients, AI, right, bioengineered foods, bioengineered, right, understand that the body has biochemistry. Setups, bro. God damn. The body has biochemistry. So bioengineered foods come down to another bioengineered foods also come down to another informational source. Okay. So what you got to understand with bioengineered foods, it will destroy, right, the natural bio, right, of the vessel. That's what you got to understand. Bioengineered foods are not designed to build up, the biology of the vessel. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to actually destroy it. So it's designed to do the opposite. So this is why you got to be careful with bioengineered foods, because it's designed to destroy the biology of the body. That's what it's designed to do. So just be careful, right? Let me get back to my triangle. 9 months, bioengineered foods are being installed. Artificial ingredients, which is AI, is being installed. All that information and data are not natural sources. They're not. So what I'm starting to understand, cerebral palsy, all these other different bio defects come down to the mother not actually listening to the son and the father of requesting her to eat from the planet. That way the babies can actually come out naturally. That's what happened. So when you see a lot of children coming out with birth defects or mental retardation, you might want to look at the mother and ask what sources of information and data did you eat from? Because if you're eating artificial ingredients for 9 months, that means that your baby's being created artificially. That means that artificial people are being born within the womb. Setups. I think I done gave y'all a little bit too much smoke today. I'm blowing up too much shit on the fucking map. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Okay. With that being said, it's your ancestor General Y God signing over and out. Y'all have a great one.